Can you also imagine how much fluff there would be before it, where you'd be like,
Oh.
"Dude, if you say the beheading's at 7, do it at 7. It's 9:45."
Yeah. Too much pomp, not enough circumstance. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean? We came here for the circumstance.
yeah,
Matter of fact, pomp is why we're doing this. We're not
yeah.
fans of the pomp.
Yeah. What is pop? Oh my god. Oh no. Is it over?
You look like you just got through working out at a gym that they only let you beat off at.
Ah, the last part just changed everything.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Dude, you have no idea. Well, you have cats, so you know what it's like to be a parent. But
That's the
I
most respectful anyone's ever been about this.
thank you. I was terribly kidding. But however, like when you texted and you were like, "Hey, I can do 8:30 now." Dude, he was not even close to going to sleep. Like not even close to going to sleep. And it just hit me that doing it at 8:30 would be so much better for me. And I picked him up, I swallowed him, put him in this thing, and he was still like running around. And I just go, "Daddy needs this." And I put him in his crib, and he just went and just went out.
Ah,
Like he's the best. Like he knew that
wow.
Daddy needs this. So yeah. So here we
Well,
are,
I
buddy.
hope he gets used to that, because
Yeah,
he's
me
probably gonna
too.
hear that a lot.
Yeah, Daddy needs this.
Come on,
Please,
just a
Daddy
hundred
needs this.
dollars.
Come on, Daddy.
Yes.
Please.
Daddy
I-
stopped doing stand up because of his book deal.
It was because of you. Give me $100 now.
Daddy
You,
needs this.
do you know how good things were going? Well, I'm glad you could do this, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sad Trey got COVID.
Yeah, actually, Trey doesn't have COVID. He's just very sick. He's
Yep.
he's very ill. Luckily, it's not COVID. It's just
Some people are saying that he might replace Biden.
that's what I heard, and I think that Trey had his people. Like, there's part of me that thinks this is all some sort of like funded by Blackstone thing. It's like
Yeah.
Biden gets COVID, Trey's sick. Kamala, who knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But he's just regular sick, and I think that like over the past 5 or 6 years, we've forgotten that there's other things you can get.
That is, you know me. I'm backstage wearing a goddamn mask.
Yeah.
I have to be checked on that all. Like anyone who knows me is like, they're like, it's not COVID, or they're like, not everything's cut, because I'm like, it's probably COVID.
Right. No, I assume too. And you and me are probably similar. Like when I'm on the road now, like I can just every time like I'll go to a gas station and it'll be like one of those. It's like a gas station that if there were any other gas stations, you would not have stopped here, but you
Yes.
have to because you're
The
on the road.
one where you're like, what? Like, you guys are still doing the rolling numbers?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. You guys know that was like 1980 we left that behind.
They've got a guy. The gas prices are changing so much. They've just got a guy out there at all
Yeah.
times, just going
Yeah.
click, 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 click,
Yeah,
click,
yeah.
click.
Yeah.
And as soon as I touch the knob, like to go in the bathroom, I go, "That's it. I have COVID. I
Well,
100% have
see,
COVID."
I every gas station I go into on the road, people are like, is like, it's just stares. If you wear a mask now, it's just, and I get it. I do fully get what it looks like to people, but
Yeah,
like if you go to a Pilot gas station anywhere between in like 34 states,
yeah,
people are like, what?
right. But here's the thing: is that they look at you with the same indignation that people who wore masks at the peak of COVID used to look at people who weren't wearing masks. And it's like one of these makes sense. Like one of the like listen, let's say hypothetically you believe that it's stupid to wear a mask. Your mask isn't getting on anyone.
Well, how about this? There is a middle. If you fucking, I mean, again, there's a lot of like there's a gray area. I think you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. But if you feel like you're sick, you wear the mask.
Sure.
That would do a lot. That would do a lot.
Yeah.
But
I've seen some people they were like I felt this way. Like I would see people driving down the road by themselves in the car wearing a mask,
yes.
and I thought to myself, okay, well, there's a person we can all agree is an idiot. And then
Yeah,
someone pointed out, they're like, well, look,
Lyft
they're
driver.
probably a Lyft driver and they just
I
don't
had
want
the
to take
same
it
thing.
off.
I
And
was
I was
doing
like,
that.
okay.
I was trying to get in with those people. I was like, I think we can all agree those people are crazy. And then people are like, you insensitive prick. I was like, ah, damn it. I'm trying to
Yeah.
be as cool as possible.
I know. It's hard to be cool now. You can't be
No.
like the left isn't cool, the right isn't cool. I think that, and this isn't a political podcast, but since we're talking about how equally they both suck and are not cool, it's fine. But like there's no room for cool anymore. Like,
No, it's all such a fucking like. I think like the French left is cool. Like I like the
yeah.
French left. I like that farmers like drive manure to like.
Are you saying fringe or French? The French
I
left.
guess both.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying French. Like
Okay.
those farmers will drive manure to politicians' houses and like that. I like that version of it. But in this country, it's just like, oh my god.
Hey, speaking of the French and stuff, I do. I have a clip here that I want to share. That's actually from your homeland, your people, up to some stuff. But before that, before we get too far into the weeds, number one, I would like to thank you for being here. Thank you for replacing Trae. This is the always.
Permanently, right?
Yeah, he's never coming back on
Okay.
my watch. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I've seen the downloads of our show and the downloads of y'all's show. I will
Yeah.
fucking cancel 15 years of
I'm
best friendship in a second.
I'm what they call a value add.
You are.
Now
You
you
are.
guys do better on socials, but come on.
See, I disagree. I think, well, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway,
Your stuff does well.
stop. I can't do this.
Listen, here's the thing, Gareth. I
I will say, people say your appearance on our podcast, The Pastimes, the last one that came out. So we have the Dollop, we have the Pastime. Not only just on our Patreon, anecdotally, people have texted me and been like, that is by far the best episode of that show. And if you want to know why it's the best episode, you don't even you should listen to the whole thing. You just need to listen to the first 4 minutes and you'll know why it's the best episode. And
That's
it's all
true.
because of Corey.
Well, thank you very much. And hey, I've had a bunch of your fans who have now started following me. They messaged me and they said that, and I was like, well, of course, these people are saying this to
No.
me. And then I started. I've been following y'all's Reddit for a while, and I saw my name pop up.
Oh, really?
It was like Hall of Fame guest.
Yeah.
And I was like, the cynic in me was like, okay, I'm gonna click this, and there's gonna be someone in there that's like, he fucking sucked. No, it was universal acclaim. I think the episode was good.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? That's why
crazy.
I went into it thinking like,
Yeah, you got to be
man,
ready.
these true Dollop people, they're not going to be happy that I came on the show and literally started farting. They're not going to be happy, and
But
they were.
It's so much better than that. Just go listen if you haven't, because that's an injustice of what it was. But anyway, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I was going to ask you to promote your shit, which you just did. You are the one of the hosts of the Dollop and the Pastimes. Also, I know that you're out there on the road, so go ahead and tell people where they can see you, where they can get it, because we're going to get into the weeds and we'll end up forgetting.
I have another podcast called We're Here to Help, which is a call-in advice show. And then you can go to GarethReynolds.com. I'm all over all the time. You just came and did a show with me in Chattanooga.
And I did not get the universal acclaim at that I did on your Pastimes show. There was one gentleman in particular who did not care for me there.
It's a shame Luke deleted all the footage. Although I'm starting to think there might be cahoots. That you told him to. But
no,
but you can
that,
follow
dude.
me. You can follow me at Reynolds Gareth, and you can go to my website, GarethReynolds.com.
Okay, so as we all know, you are a proud member of the British aristocracy. You were born and raised in Worcestershire, I believe.
Sure.
To Worcestershire, to a noble family, the Gants. I believe you come from the West Gants.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, y'all's king today did a really, really funny thing. I'm going to share this clip with you here. I think is just absolutely titillating and wonderful. King Charles, who, by the way, I don't know if he fired whoever Elizabeth's PR person was, or he really is just boring, but I don't hear a lot about. I feel like every week with Elizabeth, I was hearing something. Granted, she was 90 something, but like, he sort of just kind of exists, and every now and then I go, oh, right, they got a king now.
Well, part of the thing with that job is that it isn't a job.
Right.
So it's very easy to just fly under the radar, because it's like, What did he do? It's like, I ate a bunch of soft-boiled eggs.
Oh, after I show this clip, let me come back to eggs, because me and Trae talk about this a lot, and now I need a full-blooded British person to explain something to me. Okay, here's your king. You voted for him.
I'll vote for
My
him again.
government will seek a new partnership with both business and working people and help the country move on from the recent cost of living challenges.
Do you think maybe if
I do.
if you're talking about the recent cost of living challenges, maybe go with a regular bowler hat, not the fucking sequenced one? What do you
It
think?
is. It's just. There are so many moments now where you go, "That's the problem." Like, there's just so many things now where you could just see it and just be like, like, how are people that dumb? Like, our government does it all the time, but that is our government. Look, at least we don't have someone wearing jewels. Like, we don't have the Cruella de Vil
Right.
clear. Like, that level of tone deafness is, I mean, it's remarkable.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
he's standing there worth 100 million pounds,
Yeah.
going like, we will make sure that people have places to live and things to do.
Yeah, and that's a really good point you make, because, like, obviously over here our politicians wear like expensive shit or whatever, but like you have to like Google image search what they're wearing to find out how much it costs.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's like a suit looks like a suit to us. So it's like, yeah, one of our senators is up there talking about the cost of living and price gouging or whatever. And then someone is like, actually, I saw him coming out of Versace, that suit. But like, you have to investigate. You don't have to look shit up when you've got emeralds on your head.
When you are Scrooge McDucking. I mean, that is like, honestly, if like the AOC Eat the Rich dress was a person. You're just like, what? It's nuts, man. The monarchy, and I had a bunch of stand-up about the monarchy at one point, and just like a lot of my beliefs, I'm like, how is this controversial? Like, there were people who were like, come on, they're awesome.
Well, you know, interestingly, I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad that we're talking about this, because me and Trae have pontificated it many times. And in our award-winning book, I made up an award just so that we could, you get it. I made up an award. Our book got it. Best book. Best book. Best book. That's what it was. We won first prize.
Twice, or you just forgot that there was nothing after best book?
You are correct. And so,
I wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, you were. And so, anyways, in our book, I mentioned this story where I ran into these dudes in at the Garrick Inn, which is in Stratford upon Avon, Shakespeare's place, right? The Garrick Inn, for some context to people, I'm sure you know, like it was old when Shakespeare used to drink there. It's a very interesting place. And I run into these dudes who, like, there's like 4 of them, and they look like all different types of archetypes of like right-wing people. Like, there was the tech bro-y kind of one, then there was the MAGA kind of looking one, and then there was like the he's working class, he could go either way. Like, he definitely has some opinions on gypsies, but he's in a union. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
I'm sure you ran into those fellas.
Yeah.
And so I also, like you, just assume like, okay, well, it's not controversial to be like, we shouldn't have kings and shit, right? And so these guys, the reason that I felt like I could talk to them was because the first thing they did when they heard my accent, the Uvalde shooting had just happened. Not to bring this podcast down.
No,
and they were like, so, you know, what you think about all the guns, you know? And I'm sitting there like, fuck, I'm about to give them my real opinion, which is like, I don't think everybody should have one. And they're going to be like, oh, fuck's sake, that's the only reason we like the States. You know, we wish we had guns here. Fish and chips, $4, fuck you.
Bang, bangers, mash him.
Tired of stabbing me, lady.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, here's the deal. I'm from the South. All my friends grew up hunting and fishing. I think that a rifle or shotgun for protection in certain situations is fine. I think you should be vetted. And I think that there's some people that should never be close to one. And he was like, fucking A, raw. I agree with you. And I was like, oh shit. Okay.
But people.
Yeah. Right. And so then we started talking. I was like, okay, this guy will be on my side. So I started talking about the fucking monarch. I was like, it's fucking a little. He's like, America sucks. This, and I'm like, yeah, we do. Okay, but like, bro, we don't have a fucking king. Like, who the fuck still has kings? And he wasn't like, fuck you, the monarchy's awesome. He was a cool. They were all cool, but he was like, well, if you think about it this way, and he starts laying out all these points.
Tourism.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. About he's like, dude, as much as they spend, they do make it back. Like they do make it back. And he's like, and also like, because we've got this like sort of mascot instead of he's not an actual empirical ruler. And the way that our government's set up, it kind of has been a pretty good shield from fascism for a while. I mean, if you look, and I was sitting there listening to this, like, man, I'm never going to be like, hell yeah, I'm for kings. But he definitely made me think about it a little bit different,
Well, there is like, that argument is the one that everyone makes for
right.
it, is
Which,
the
of course.
tourism thing. But there is actually a story, and we did it on the Dollop, about how there was a prime minister democratically elected. And because of shenanigans in Australia, the Queen was able to sign basically an overturned contract that took away the democratically elect prime minister, and then they put in a fucking lunatic.
Right.
And so there is some power there, but regardless, the tourism argument is like, that is fair. I also think if you were to like put their heads on pikes, you'd probably only lose half of that, because people would be like, I'll pay to see that.
Oh, I mean, I think that, I don't know how you can sustain that economically, but I think for one big cash grab, if you put all of, especially if you went with Prince Andrew first, like, hey, we're going to.
Well, maybe we parse it out, and there's a lot of them. Yeah, we do one a year.
One a year. Yeah. And you sell tickets. People get to come up. You don't even need a visa. No. The EU is dissolved for this moment. Everybody come. Yeah. Fucking chicken on a stick. And I think that's, I'll obviously put it on Netflix.
You do one of those. Yeah.
Which would, like, God, can you imagine how pissed off Harry and Meghan would be if their Netflix shit got canceled and it got replaced with, we're going to behead your cousin.
Can you also imagine how much fluff there would be before it, where you'd be like, if you say the beheading's at 7, do it at 7. It's 9:45.
Yeah. Too much pomp, not enough circumstance. You know what I mean? We came here for the circumstance.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, pomp is why we're doing this. We're not fans of the pomp.
Yeah. What is pomp?
Yeah. I've never known.
It just goes there. Who knows?
And
it's the fluff. And the pregame.
Y'all, if you've been listening to this show for a long time, you know how excited I am. It has finally happened. I'm here to talk to y'all about my brand new Tushy bidet. Woo! I'm telling you what, y'all know how licking wing sauce off your fingers is the best way to get them clean? Y'all know. Y'all are like me. Bidets do the same thing, but for your butthole. Only with a precise stream of clean water. Okay? Instead of using toilet paper that falls apart and smears your poopy around, or wet wipes that dry your butt skin out, wash all the stickiness of sweaty summer poops away with Tushy bidet. Y'all, again, first time I ever used a bidet was at the Watergate Hotel, and I was like, why have I never used this before? And we've had our buddy Caleb signing on one time. We were like, well, I don't know if I want to buy one. And he was like, guys, listen, think about it this way. If a bird pooped on your arm, would you just wipe it off with a piece of paper? If you got poop on your arm, would you wipe it? And I was like, no, I'd probably get soap and water. I'd scrub it or something. And he's like, yeah, but we do that with our buttholes. Why? And I was like, oh my God, you're totally 100% right. First off, this Tushy bidet is so easy to install. How easy to install is it? Well, I did it, and you can ask my wife. I suck at things like that. Dude, I have been literally just hopping on the bidet even when it's not technically time to use the bidet, because here's the deal, y'all. My buddy Robbie said it one time. There is never a bad time to wipe your butt, and that goes doubly with there's never a bad time to get a precise squirt of water right on your butthole and clean it off, y'all. The Tushy, it has a 3-stream nozzle for a total clean, air mesh bag for discreet travel, and faster dry time. You can take this sumbitch with you, y'all. So, like, if you're like, oh, man, I'll tell you what, I've been using my Tushy at home and, like, I just can't go without it. Well, you don't have to. Dude, you can take it to your mother-in-law's house. When you go out of town, you know how y'all go to, every year you go to Iowa for Thanksgiving and you stay with all your cousins and stuff, and sometimes you have to sleep on the floor because you're not technically related to all the, oh, is that just me? Okay. Well, anyways, you can take your bidet with you. It's got an anti-corrosion carabiner and key ring for ultra-durable performance, and it comes in 5 new colors. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you're like, I'm bored with the color of this old way that I was pooping onto. It's that time of year for spring cleaning, and what better place to start with a clean butthole? If you're looking for a more permanent bidet at home, Tushy has the absolute best options for bidets that attach to your existing toilets. It even easily connects to the same water source as your sink and shower. Like I said, dude, the install is so easy. Anyone can do it in under 10 minutes. And just to be clear, these are 2 separate bidets. They've got a travel one, and they've got the one for home. I think you should get both. Because, again, once you start with this Tushy bidet, there is no way you were going to go back to just paper. Wiping with toilet paper just smears that poop around and spreads bacteria, causing chronic infections down there, like hemorrhoids, UTIs, yeast infections, anal fissures. Ooh! Lord, I don't know if I've ever said that on a podcast. They're so easy to use, y'all. And every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. So if you don't like the way it sprays your butt, you can send it back. But I guarantee you ain't going to do it. And Tushy knows that. And that's why they feel comfortable giving that guarantee. Stay shower fresh all summer long and join the 2 million butts who already switched to Tushy. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the code POA at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code POA. That is 10% off your first bidet when you use the code POA at checkout at HELLOTUSHY.com. HelloTushy.com, promo code POA. Get your butthole clean, y'all. Because I promise you right now, you think it's clean? Not till you use a Tushy, my friend. Get your Tushy tushed. Tushy tush. And speaking of that, how have you ever heard the song Pomp and Circumstance and not thought about Macho Man Randy Savage?
No.
Right. Like, think of, like, whoever fucking, I don't know, Mozart, whoever came up with Pomp and Circumstance, and the people, yeah, the people who most associate with it, like the people that put their hearing
aid heavy on the circumstances.
More pomp. Bring up the pomp.
Pomp is have.
I don't have enough pomp in my headphones. Turn up the pomp.
Go back from the top. Do more pomp. Little more pomp. Yes, I'll come in on the next bit.
Yes, we're lousy with circumstance. But, like, if those people knew that everyone, when they hear that song, they think about the fucking Slim Jim mascot, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
It's great. So, going back to what you were saying, so it is true. I remember I saw this at one point, but, like, I also see a lot of stuff and go, oh, well, that's a fact. And then I say it on this show, and it's not. Like, last week, I made a pretty compelling argument that Muammar Gaddafi was not that bad of a guy because I saw one screenshot of something and was like, wow, it was a cover-up. You know?
Well, look, they fucking sodomized him to death, so there's that. But there's a very strong argument for what was happening in Libya. There's a lot of stuff that if it happened in this country would be highly approved that he was putting out there.
Okay. Interesting. Well, we don't have to talk about that, but I will use that.
Have I lost people? Am I no longer the Trae?
No, you're fine. It's just that I was getting roasted, and I should have been getting roasted because I based everything I said on a fucking, like, a photoshopped image that I saw on Reddit where they were like, he gave everybody health care and a water gun for their birthday, you know, or something like that.
Everyone got a water gun.
Yeah. And I was like, as far as dictators go, that's fairly benevolent.
Well, there's no argument to say that things got better after the United States basically, toasted him.
Yeah, sure. What's Libya up to now? Scoreboard. I like your theory.
Open slave markets now. So.
But my point was, yeah, that's great. Hey. All right. They're open. Slave markets. Open.
Yeah.
So I had read that a while back, and so it is true that like that whole we go, oh, the Queen of England doesn't really have any power. She's just a figurehead. I had heard where they were like, actually, she chooses not to exercise the great power that she has. That's
It's more
actually
that.
more that. Yeah. So that is
And
true.
well, because there is some. I mean, again, I'm not like fucking expert. I'm no expert in anything, but
That's why I
uh,
had you on.
uh yeah, she has that power.
Right on.
You hit
There
the
you go.
button.
Oh,
No.
oh,
Fuck. All right, never mind. There is some prime minister. There is some transactional thing that happens when a prime minister is elected. They have to go there, and the king or the queen's like, yes,
yeah, right.
yeah,
You with the pantaloons.
make sure that the people have everything that they want. Give me a jewel. I'm going to sneeze.
I have asked you to set up a government in my name. Carry on.
Yeah, in that fucking cloak.
Yeah.
If there was an article about Prince Charles where it went through the stuff that he has never done for himself. Among them were tie
Wiped
his
his own
shoes
ass.
and
Okay.
brushed his teeth.
Wait, are you being for real? He's never
Yeah.
brushed his own teeth?
I mean, look, I don't have a mole on the inside, but there was an article that was basically to your like saw a screenshot. There was
Okay.
something that said that he literally doesn't brush his own teeth.
Here's the thing. Like, obviously, these people have like luxuries that something like that is like when you think of like, oh, if someone gave me $500 million, I would have, it would take me so long down the line to go, I'd have a bitch brush my teeth. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that honestly sounds worse. Like, the fact that I have to talk to a person in the morning and they brush my teeth, I literally would rather brush my own teeth.
I'll be like, I'll do it, but just we won't tell anyone.
Right. Tell them you brush my teeth, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then they're just walking around and they're like, who is that, sir? Oh, that's Nigel. He brushes my teeth, that filthy flea bottom.
His teeth are falling out. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done it before. But wait, when we were saying the eggs thing, before you get into your egg point.
Oh, yeah. I had a question about eggs.
One of the things with Charles was when he goes out on a fox hunt, there is a specific way he wants his eggs cooked. And there is a guy who, when they think they're about a half hour away, just starts soft boiling eggs on repeat and throwing them out until he comes back and they're the perfect temperature for him. So they go through like 200 eggs for him to eat like 4 when he comes back. It's nuts.
We are doing all we can for the working class people because we know that these times have been difficult. Where is the quarry with all of my leftover eggs? Let them feast upon it.
By the way, I would eat that. I think that a lot. What trash would I eat?
Yeah,
I would eat that trash.
Yeah,
there's certain places, soft-boiled egg trash, Dunkin' Donuts, like donut trash. There's certain trash where I'm like, I can get busy.
Well, I think with the soft-boiled, the only issue you're going to run into is you need to know when it became trash.
Well, that's key for this one.
Right.
That's key for any of these.
Well, not really. I mean,
I'm talking watching a guy throw it out from inside.
It's not key with donuts and stuff, though, because to me, bread is like, if there's no visible mold, it is fine. It's 100% fine. But with an egg...
Yeah. Well, you can also... Yeah.
Smell test.
Smell test.
So here was my egg thing. You fucking Brits.
Oh,
huh?
This is just there's a lot of mustard on this one.
Yeah, I come in hot. I've noticed, and when I say I've noticed, I mean in dramatized television programs that I have watched throughout the years, such as The Crown, Downton Abbey, whatever, is that you limey fucks will take... Is that... Okay, another question, because as someone with my accent, me and Trae collect slurs, like Pokemon. Like, we don't use them, but we love when we find out about another one. Is limey
is
like
Pokemon Japanese? Is that a slur you say?
Yeah, that's a slur. Look at that Pokemon person over there with them noodles. Okay. Is limey like... Is that offensive?
Well, far be it for me to ever say that the British can feel racial victimization of any kind. I think it is aimed at being offensive. So I would say there's probably some Brits who feel that way.
what does it mean? Like you were sour?
I would guess it's from like limestone or something
Uh-huh.
like that. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cause like, yeah, I feel the same way. Like I've said it before about some of our fans, like, oh, our limey fans, and I was like, I wonder if that's offensive. And then I was like, you know what? No, and here's why. It's the same reason that like any white person who's like, you know, honky is just as bad. I'm shut the fuck up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We don't get to feel bad over a word.
I think let those words out there, let them rip, because at least it gives some people a way to just kind of just get it out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so you
I
lie
mean, we've
me.
been through a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
You limey, bad teeth having, imperialist pieces of shit, rapers of Ireland.
Oh,
You know what else? Y'all,
yeah.
I've
Can
seen
only
them.
deep fry. Left the left the EU because of fish.
Yeah, colonized every single country for their spices and then don't use them on shit. It's incredible. Anyways, I've seen where when they eat an egg, what they'll do is they have a specialized egg cup, right?
Yes.
And they put the egg in it and then they
Yes.
crack it
Yes.
just so. It's like they're just taking the egg's top off, like very
Yes.
sensually, and then they dig through there
Beheading.
and
Yeah.
that's how they eat the egg. Why?
I don't. It's one of the. I grew up doing that. I even
You
here
did?
have egg cups. Yes, grew up doing that. Well, I grew up
Were y'all
having one.
loaded?
No, no.
Okay, so it's not just a rich
Oh
people
no,
thing.
no. Those
Okay.
little things cost like £2. Uh,
A
it, w- I-
quid. Is
yeah,
this okay? So
pounds. Sorry,
okay, I didn't know that you were
I
born in the film Harry Potter. A quid, you say?
that Quidditch
Is
quid.
quid and pound the same thing?
Yes.
Well, fuck it. Oh well, I guess we say dollars and bucks. Okay,
All
never mind.
bucks, dollar. Yeah, come on now.
Point
Yeah,
Brits.
yeah. And so I grew up having eggs and soldiers. And so what that would be a soft boiled egg where my mother would cut the top off, and then I'd have a piece of toast cut into little lines, and I would dip it just into the yolk,
Right.
and that was basically what I would eat. But I don't know why they do it like that. I really have. I guess it makes it probably is that it makes an egg seem fancier, which is a
Right.
lot of British stuff because when my mother grew up, she grew up during like her mother was in the war, she didn't serve in the war, but then my mother grew up poor.
Over
Like
there, you just were in the war, even if if you didn't
yeah,
want to be,
you
because it was
yes,
just where the war was.
yes, yes. You see, that's what I mean. Like my
Yeah.
grandmother was just like, "Oh no, bombs,"
Yeah.
and so she grew up so poor, and there was a lot of like stretching your money. So I would think that maybe it came from something like that. Might be older, but yes, everyone has that egg cup. It's like it's on a little stand, and you just tap the egg top off, and then you kind of just spoon it out. Super weird.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, now that you've let me know that it's not just the aristocracy that does it, I'm actually fine with it now. But like to me, I was just always I like soft boiled eggs too, but it's like soft boil the egg, cut the egg in half, put the egg, put it down like this, and then you can do the same thing. I just always was like, there's no way I'm not going to get a piece of shell in there. You know what I mean?
I really don't. It's been so long. I don't remember how. Yeah, but it is. It's a nightmare. I mean,
Do you
I
then eat the rest of the egg, or do you discard it because you're only looking for the yolk? Holy shit.
get him. Get
My
him.
wife, sorry, that was my wife, everybody. I had the baby monitor up here. This is the first time I've ever done a podcast and also had a baby monitor. She just scared the fucking
Great.
shit out of me.
That's great.
What were we
Uh,
talking about?
I don't remember. No, it is. You definitely get shell in it. I would guess. I don't know. It's been so long. I don't know. I don't remember how it's advantageous in any way. You'd eat it with a spoon though.
Right.
You crack the top and then you eat it with a spoon. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Most stuff there's weird.
I got a couple more things for you. I am going to throw
Okay.
to a break real quick. We will be right back after this word from our wonderful sponsor. You've seen the ads, you've heard us talk about them a million times, and I bet there's a big part of you, pun intended, that wants to try it. What am I talking about? Say it with me. BlueChew. That's right. This ain't your grandpa's blue pill. This is the one, the OG chewable tablet for better sex. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. By the way, it tastes pretty good, too. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Seriously, it takes no time. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. Best part? All done online. That means no visits to the doctor office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. I happen to know my pharmacist, so that super hits for me. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or just be ready whenever it's time to have a get-down situation. Just boom, there we go. Because, you know, life comes at you fast. Blue Chew wants you to have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Y'all, this is the show. I've been using them for years. And by the way, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your downstairs area. It's just all about confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, honeymoon, I'm like, I want to throw it to her. You know what I'm saying? And I got, you know, you get nervous. You got a lot of stuff going through your head. Well, Blue Chew takes all of that out of the window, dude. It's just rock hard every time. Blue Chew wants the entire country rock hard, by the way. They told me that's the mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code POA at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's it. That's BlueChew.com, promo code POA to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast and getting us a brand new dick. Skew. Read all about it. Have y'all heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? Dude, it's a whole new movement towards better habits led by the sponsor of today's show. That's our friends over at Fume. Y'all, we all got bad habits. You know, I've got habits that aren't so good, and I used to have even worse habits, and sometimes I would do all of those habits at the same time, and we're always reaching for our bad habits, and you feel that urge not to be left out, and you asked someone, you're like, can I borrow one of your bad habits? I don't have any of my bad habits. Well, what if I was to tell you there's a better alternative that helps you kick your bad habit in an enjoyable way, something you can take out with you? Flavored air is not like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint, orange vanilla. By the way, that orange vanilla one is certainly the most tea-y of the bunch. That was my favorite thing. It was literally like breathing in tea leaves, and it was very delightful. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. You ain't got to charge it, y'all. Don't have to put batteries in it. Don't have to light it with nothing. Just draws flavors into your mouth. It fills the void ditching a bad habit can leave, and you still have something to reach for. There's no nicotine. It's not addictive. Non-toxic flavors. It's a guilt-free alternative. Like I said, no batteries. It looks awesome, too. It does. It looks like a little tiny baseball bat. I really enjoy it. It's got a good weight to it. If you're somebody that likes to fidget, I'd be fidgeting. Usually I use a pen, but my Fume is a lot better. Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products. Fume is backed by doctors in the U.S. Like I said, I personally like the orange vanilla the best, but that crisp mint, I got to tell you, reminds me of a certain bad habit I used to have, which really scratches that itch, if you know what I'm saying. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use our code POA to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's FUM.com and use the code POA or scan the QR code here on the screen if you're watching us on YouTube to get a free gift with your order today. Tryfume.com, code POA. Skew. And we're back.
Wow.
One more thing before we get to the Fancy Five. If you're brand new to this show, the Fancy Five is 5 questions that I have deemed fancy. But before that, I would like your comments on this. I'm going to provide it to you without context, and I'm just going to let you roll because you are the king of that.
Now, how do you get out of a chair gracefully and with poise? This is all to do with weight distribution. Instead of leaning forward or shifting off your hands and looking ungainly, keep your back straight and put your weight onto the thighs. Now think tall. Pull up your leg muscles, pull in your tummy and bottom, but above all, look straight ahead. And up you come through those thighs. Now, what about those hands and arms? Do you fold them? Do you put your hands in the pockets? Never, never fold your arms in front like this. It's a defensive posture. One hand in the pocket is acceptable, but try standing like this. Place your hands and your arms in front very lightly. A clutch bag is a good support too as a prop.
Oh my God.
Those are the people that eat their eggs in a fucking cup.
By the way, Trump could use that at the RNC. I don't know if you've seen it. He's in a chair. I don't know what they put him in, like a beanbag.
Yeah.
Every time he gets up, he's like,
Well, he's an elderly man with perpetual diarrhea. We shouldn't be doing as horrible as he is. We should not be doing this to him or any of them.
It's not true. Well, it seems like Joey's gone. That is one of those things where there's still a lot of remnants of that in England. Like there's a very English way to eat. I remember my mother always being like, "You're not eating properly," and my brother would eat properly, and she'd be like, "Look at how Nick's eating."
Right.
Like I would just put a fork in a thing and carve around it. The British thing would be fork face down.
Yes.
And then you
saw.
cut. Yes, you saw right there lightly, and then the bite's already on the fork. And I was like, I really don't care.
Right, which like that does make sense, but I remember being told that too, because like one time it wasn't an English person because I didn't ever meet one of y'all until fucking way later.
They're
in my
real.
Life. We're not allowed. Yeah, dude, where I'm from, like if you we run into an English person, we have to stab them with a moon pie knife, and that's a knife you get at the moon pie store because moon pie sells knives.
A specific moon pie store.
Oh yeah, I used to be sponsored by them when I was like 15, 16 years ago. I swear to God, 15, 16 years ago, a moon pie representative was at the Comedy Catch. I had just gotten off stage, right? This person did not see my act. They saw me getting off stage, and I swear to God, just saw me and was like, "This is the face of moon pie."
Moon pie.
Yeah. And so they were like, "So you're a comedian?" I was like, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, we want to, here's the address, come down here." They give me all this swag, all this stuff. And then they showed up the next week to watch my set. And they were like, lose our number forever, lose our number forever. But they did give me a moon pie knife, which comes in handy when I'm cutting my moon pies, as I would never do, because that would imply that I'm eating half of a moon pie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just blows my mind that there are people out there who is like, you know what? The world isn't difficult enough. We need to regulate how you stand.
Yeah, and to be proper. It still is very much a cultural pride point there to be proper.
Yeah.
It always had, like, they are still, like, I was from, I don't know how to put this properly, and I feel like if my family heard this, they would be offended, but I would say a lot of my family was kind of white trash.
Yeah, that's good. That's why we get along.
And there was one night where crack was being smoked. And
in England,
the crack pipe was being handed around like it was a Christmas crack. You know, they were like, "Fancy a rip of rock, do you?" Like, so there's still
Ian,
an air.
puff, puff, pass, Ian.
This is all ash. Refresh the crack pipe. Hand me that light bulb. Let's get weird. Yeah, so it's like, there is still this air of like politeness and properness, and it helps you, like when you're driving, everyone's letting you in. That's very nice. That's very good. But then it's also just like, well, you can't stand like that, boy. You're at the table. You know?
Right. Like, what does she think standing like that without a clutch purse?
Yeah, I mean, that is crazy. So they are like that. There's a story in my family where, so my mother got elocution lessons, which is because my family's got an accent more like this.
Okay, so that's like a finishing school type thing.
Yeah, so they went to get, so they had the option, my mother and her brother had the option of going to elocution lessons or swimming lessons. And so they got to pick one of the two. And they both picked elocution lessons.
Really?
And then my uncle has a story about when he was on a boat.
You could either learn to swim or learn not to sound like a retard at dinner.
So then my uncle is on a boat, and the boat moves without him being prepared. He falls off the back of the boat. He's drowning, but he's going, Pardon me. Could anyone save me from my drowning? I chose elocution. Yes, I choose to speak this way, but I can't do the breaststroke to save my life.
Oh God, that's so funny. My mom also can't swim, but it's because she's just lazy and an asshole and
Isn't it
refuses.
crazy to imagine not? It's crazy to me that you can't. I don't know. It's so inherent to my childhood, just swimming,
Me too. And it
that
took
it's like I don't think I must have taken a lesson at some point, but I just was like inclined to do it.
yeah, I took like as soon as we were old enough to go to the pool, the public pool,
Yeah.
they had lessons for the kids at the public pool, and like I'm sure some people it takes a little bit longer, but like it's kind of like 30 minutes and you got it.
Yeah.
And now I will say this, I think learning as a kid probably way easier than learning as an adult, simply because your brain is a sponge, and also you
Yeah.
as a kid you're so confident that you're like, sure. But as an adult,
Well,
you know that death could happen.
yeah, it's like anything else. It's like those things that, yeah, they're just those things where you're like, okay, yeah, you're full of instincts that you're just like giving everything a shot. You haven't achieved full fear just yet in that way.
Yeah, and I was a lifeguard. I've been certified CPR like 8 times in my life. Just I kept re-upping or whatever. Like I've told my mom so many times. Like she has a pool and she's out there all the
As a
time.
pool.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, it's just like the family pool or whatever. And she goes, and I'm like, Mom, like, I could teach you to swim. And she just flat out refuses. She's like, I'm not getting in that water. And I'm like,
You know what it's like? It's like people who don't drive when they're like 34.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Get out there. Mix
But
it up.
it's not to shit on my mom, but it's dumber actually, because
Fair.
like in driving, you have to do a little bit more than just.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Or you can stand. Does she go in the pool and stand?
No, not at
She
all.
won't go in the pool.
No, and that's not. But she lays out by the pool, and so maybe
That's
she
not the
dips.
same.
Maybe she dips her feet in or whatever.
Not
But
the
she's
same.
got no interest. I think at this point she's a redneck and she's stubborn. Anyways,
My mother and her sister, when they swim, it was like watching a tortoise. Like they would go do a breaststroke and try to not get their hair wet.
Yeah.
And we would just watch them and be like, "How is this enjoyable?"
That's funny you say that, because that was always my mom's excuse. Was like, well, why would I ever get in the pool? Because then I'd have to do my hair again. Like it's like, well, fucking okay, Mom. It's not about you having fun. It's about when you go out there sometimes to water the flowers around the pool and you trip on the hose and fall in and you die and aren't my mommy anymore. That's I don't give a fuck if you have a good time, you old bitch. You've had your fun. You had me.
My uncle's last words will be, "Oh no."
Very proper.
Oh gosh.
Bollocks.
It's bollocks.
Oh my God. I don't remember how we got here, but I do have the fancy five for you.
The sitting of the
Oh,
chair.
yeah. So as if life isn't hard enough, but there are people like that. I think what I was saying earlier is I remember the first time I got told that I wasn't doing something proper. I didn't know that eating had any rules except for like, I knew don't talk with your mouth full. Like I knew that, which like, that's one of those, it's like, that's just kind of, that makes sense. But like I was eating my steak, like here's how I did it. I had the fork like this, stab, and then cut, and then
readjust,
whatever. But like, and someone was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like that aggressive, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You eat like a fucking caveman." And I was like, I just one day someone gave me steak, and I just thought I made a mistake. I didn't.
A mistake.
And some people are like, I'm like, and they're like, you're supposed to eat like this. I was like, first off, can I tell you something? I have no idea how you eat because I'm not looking at you while you're eating, you fucking asshole. Who gives a shit? Why are you watching me eat?
Yeah, it is weird.
Why are you watching me eat?
My first real like American, like what is going on etiquette was I grew up with some really rich friends and I used to go to this country club with them. And I mean, I don't know, but I would wear a hat, and I was sitting at a table, and we were about to eat, and this guy comes over and he goes, "Take your hat off."
Yeah.
When you're at the table eating, and I was like, "What?" I kind of gave him the like, "Screw you, old man," like act, and he got furious, and he kind of took it off and he put it on the table. I was like, all right. So I ate my food. As soon as we were done eating, I put my hat back on. He came over. He goes, are you kidding me? And I said, you said while I eat. And he goes, take off your goddamn hat. And I was like, boy, this guy's really lived a charmed life.
Dude, and it's funny you say that because like all of these, well, not all, but most of these rules come from a time when the rule made sense and we just kept doing it. Because like, do you know why you're not supposed to wear your hat indoors? So the reason why you don't wear your hat indoors is because back in the day, people used to, wearing a hat was not for fashion. It was function. It was to keep the sun off of you. It was to keep the weather off of you. And also, built in the Pilgrim times, building houses was hard, and it was, you know, like there was no code and there was no whatever. They didn't have a level and all this shit. And so if you wore your hat in someone's house, what it said to them is, I don't trust that your ceiling is properly sealed and I might get wet if it's raining. So you take your hat off out of respect. In other words, like, I feel comfortable in your house. The weather's not going to get on me or whatever. So like at one time that maybe kind of made sense.
Sure.
But that's not that ain't it no more.
Let it go.
And by the way, here's everyone that has ever said take off your hat, we're indoors. They don't know that. They don't know why. And you know why? Because I tell them it when they tell me to take my fucking hat off. I go, hey, are you a fucking Pilgrim buff? I didn't think so. Let me explain to you why this is antiquated, and I'm going to wear my goddamn hat because at the time, I'm 22 years old, and my hairline is a fucking nightmare. And I'm on a date with a lady. There have been so many times when we would go out with girls and stuff like that when I was in my early 20s, and they'd be like, we want to go dancing. We would get to the club, and it was like, no basketball jerseys, no long white shirts, no
tennis shoes.
In other words, no these people. And if they were like, sir, you can't wear your hat, I would leave the date. I would just
because of your hairline.
Yeah, because of my hairline. I was like, I'm not.
I was once in Texas, and the guy goes, he had a big bag for hats.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a cowboy hat. And he goes, you got to take your hat off to come in here. And I go, what? And he goes, no hats. And I go, you're wearing a cowboy hat. And he goes, cowboy hat ain't a hat. I go, you just called it a hat.
Right. That's part of me, son. You don't understand.
I was like, okay.
I've got a buddy who like it's a thing amongst cowboys with like, you know, if you touch a cowboy's hat, shit's going down. And I've got a buddy who like, yeah, okay, he did do rodeo for a minute, but like he didn't grow up on a farm. He's not like, dude, people where I'm from, they're like, yeah, we're fucking cowboys. I'm like, no, go to Texas. There are literal cowboys. There are men who are cowboys. And first off, they don't wear that hat that you're wearing.
Yeah,
but
right.
Like I remember he was younger. He took that shit so seriously. He was like, you know, you ain't supposed to touch a cowboy's hat. And somebody just came up and just kind of barely touched his hat, and he pulled a knife on him. It was
my God. Moon pie knife.
Yeah, he pulled his moon pie knife. And we all finally calmed him down, and we were like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't pull knives on people. He goes, but you're not supposed to touch a cowboy's hat.
Don't you understand? I don't believe this structure was built properly. Some weather could get on me. Good Lord. Don't mess with my hat.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah,
So
all right.
now the segment that everyone's been clamoring for, I'm certain. We've only done it once, I think. Okay. No, we've done it twice. This is the Fancy Five, Gareth. Five questions that I was going to give me and Trae both credit for it, but he came right out and said, I didn't do any work on this. This was all Corey. That I would like to ask you. And I'm interested in your answers. I sent them to you earlier. I doubt that you looked at them because you were the improv king and you don't fucking need it.
Right.
Gareth.
Let's prove that wrong right now.
That's right. Oh, nice. I love it. Gareth, number one, what is something that you thought was super fancy as a kid, only to realize when you got older that it's not that big of a deal? Examples are like Grey Poupon, Viennetta ice cream.
That's a good one.
I don't know if you remember the Viennetta ice cream that you like. It was like a cake or something.
I don't remember that.
You remember those commercials, the Viennetta cake? Okay.
You know what I thought was fancy was the Fancy Feast cat food. Because the way they would like put it in, they put it in almost like the egg dish that we were talking about.
Right.
Where I'd be like, wow. And you know what else? Mimosas.
Yes.
I used to think like a mimosa when I was like growing up. I was like luxury.
Yes.
And then when I realized, like, oh yeah, you can go to any like place that has breakfast, and you're like, this cost $8, and I paid 30 for bottomless.
That's right. Hold on. I got to show you this Viennetta commercial real quick because I can't
Okay.
believe that you
I
haven't seen
probably
it.
will remember it, but I don't remember.
Called
Yeah, that.
Viennetta.
Oh
But
yeah,
despite
yes.
its
You remember
Wow.
that?
delicious
Yes.
Yeah. I remember thinking like, I mean, of course it's part of the marketing. They're pitching it like that. But
Yes.
like now growing up thinking like it's Breyer's the shittiest. It's literally
Right.
Breyer's isn't even legally allowed to call their shit ice cream. It's frozen dessert because it's not actual ice cream.
And you gotta love this fucking country.
Oh man, I
The
do.
legalese is off the fucking charts.
It's
I do remember that, and yeah, I mean, when you're a kid, you just have no fucking concept. But yeah, you know what else? I used to think Sizzler was fancy. Well, I
Western
used to go to
Sizzlin'.
no Sizzler.
Oh,
I used to
Sizzler.
go. I
Yeah.
used to go to Sizzler with like my brother for like special things,
Yeah.
and it took me. It was like my mind had to separate from the idea that that was not going. Like that people were like, we mock that.
Yes, I felt the same way about Ryan's. Are you familiar with Ryan's?
No.
So Ryan's was it was a basically Golden Corral, except for their focus was steaks, right?
Okay.
Not good steaks. They just
No.
had steaks, you
Yeah.
know? And so in my mind, Ryan's was like where rich people went when they wanted Golden Corral. And turns out it's honestly worse than Golden Corral.
Yeah, which is tough to believe.
Number 2. And by the way, so far we're keeping score. You are the first person to ever say mimosa, and I could not agree with you more because it's fucking. Anytime you've ever had a mimosa at a party, it's the cheapest champagne. It's brut,
Yeah. Yes.
and it's that
Or Andre.
or
Yeah.
Andre extra dry, and it's that fucking from concentrate orange juice. It could
Yeah.
not be less fancy if
Yes.
it tried.
Yes.
Speaking
Yeah,
of fancy,
they're both shit, and they just cover each other's tracks well.
exactly.
Like, I won't tell anyone you're the cheapest piece of shit. It's like, same here, brother.
Well, and it is delightful.
Yes.
It is like listen, I love beer. I'm drinking a beer right now, but at 8:30 in the morning, my taste buds don't want a beer. They want a mimosa. You know what I mean?
when
It
I used
eases
to-
you in.
When I used to drink, when I used to fly, I used to drink a lot more.
Yeah.
And I remember one time being in the airport bar, probably at 6:30 a.m., and I was like, I'll have a beer. And as I'm drinking the beer, I'm like, this is slipping down pretty good. And I'm like, fuck it, there's no one around. I'll do a shot. So I was like,
Yep.
can I get a shot of Jack Daniels? And she
Yep.
goes, we can't serve hard liquor until 9. I was like, you didn't have to say it.
Out
Okay, I got a problem, lady. I'm in a bad zone.
I too have learned many liquor rules because I was about to break them.
Yes.
Yeah.
When your sadness. I had that at Panda Express once too.
No, sir, you can't get extra sugar on the chicken.
It's even sadder.
No, sir, you can't. We have to sugar the chicken for you. We can't let you back here. You're not an employee.
We don't sell Panda. I was hungover as fuck and probably was doing drugs the night before, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna drive the 20-minute. I was dying, and I was like, I want orange chicken for Panda Express so bad. So I drove the 20 minutes. I got there, and like it was one of the Panda Expresses that's in the grocery store, and the employees are not being very accommodating. And one of them was like, can I help you? And I go, can I get a family-sized orange chicken? And they go, we don't open until 10. I was like, ugh.
Why did you ask if you could help me?
Yeah, I was like, I said family size. I like shrunk. I was like,
hey, let's do this again. Say, can I help you? Can I help you? No, you can't. Apparently.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then
Christ.
I got like a deli-made sandwich. I was like, I'm a loser.
Man, you know, there's just so many things that when you're road dogs like us just becomes, it's like our normal to some people is the pinnacle of disgust. It's like the things that we do on the regular would be some people I know's literal rock bottom lowest moment of their life.
Oh yeah.
We were just I was just on tour with this group of comedians who it was fantastic. I love all of them, but they are all fucking coastal elites, right? And we were in we were on a tour bus, and the first stop we made, one of the girls when we're in the gas station, she goes, guys, I think I'm going to be bad. And everybody was like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm gonna get some sweet tarts." And these people they're not on the road a lot. They just do a lot of comedy in New York. I'm gonna get some sweet tarts. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, I haven't had those in 6 years." But you know what, girls? Sometimes you got to live, be bad. And I'm sitting here like, well, I'm putting back all of these Skittles that I thought you had to get sweet. Like, I thought bare minimum, it's like, guys,
without question. This is what you do. Heroes, go to that hot food section.
Yeah.
You want to be bad, go roll the dice over there with some ham.
That's right. That's right. Number 2, Gareth, when you think of fancy, what actor, past or present, comes to mind?
I would say a fancy actor to me. Well, Hugh Grant was doing well until he got that blowjob.
Yeah.
I think of, I guess the English accent really does sort of cloud my vision, but I would say
It helps,
Anthony
though.
Hopkins,
Yeah.
Peter O'Toole.
Yeah. Great answers.
Kind of the fancy boys.
Great answers. You're the first, and like Cary Grant, you know, my brain goes there a little bit, and a lot of British people. So far, nobody said I think the answers we've had so far were both Orson Welles, which makes so much sense.
And but then you also see that video at the end
later. Yes, exactly. And me and Trae actually talked about this last week of like Orson Welles, the way he sounded, he made that up because he's from like the Midwest and he just decided to talk like that.
Yeah, he just right.
He went to enchilada school. What was it your parents went to instead of learning to live?
Elocution.
Yeah.
No, that is very true.
Yeah, he just was like.
I have a joke about on my special England Weed and the Rest. I have a joke.
Where can you find that special?
YouTube. I have a joke about how the accent started over here. And that it's so weird that we're like, yeah, whatever, you know, and over there, you know, some point someone was just like, what if we just diced it up, you
know? Right, like you have to make a choice.
It was an ultimate separator from where you just came from to be like, fuck you. You know?
Yeah. Hugh Grant, I like it. Gareth, if you were given $100 million right now, but you had to spend it all Brewster's Millions style, so like
that is top 10 movie in my opinion.
Yeah, you think? You know, I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
It is so fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember loving it as a kid, but there's a lot of movies from that era that I loved as a kid, and I've gone back and watched, and I was like, I don't hate it, but like, it's definitely, you know, and that's why
Brewster's, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, well, I was going to say, that's why when I rewatch an old movie that does hold up, I'm like, this movie deserves so much recognition for still holding up. Like I recently watched Singing in the Rain. This is fucking as old. It's the like the first fucking color movie or whatever. And like, you need no context. Like, I don't need to, if I'm telling someone to watch it, I don't have to go, okay, so before you watch this, you have to understand that cameras weren't there. You don't. Like, it just holds the fuck up. And I'm like, that's got to be in the conversation because, dude, even Citizen Kane needs a little bit of context. Like,
movie. I watched that movie way too late, but I was like, I'm good.
I like Citizen Kane, but I do believe that, like, I needed the context to love it. Like, I needed to know
William Randolph Hearst context.
That and also like what he was doing with the camera that had never been done. Like I studied Citizen Kane before I ever watched it, and therefore it came to life for me. But Singing in the Rain, like again, if I was going to show one of my friends Citizen Kane, I would literally go, okay, before we watch this, I'm going to need turn down the house lights. I'm going to give a 10-minute lecture on why this movie is the greatest movie ever made.
I would say in 20 years, you'll have to do that because you'll be like, rain was this thing that used to come out of the sky.
You know that stuff that Nestle lets us have sometimes?
You know how you pay Nestle for that? Or worst case scenario, you bloodlet a friend and drink that to stay hydrated? You know how remember before we drank each other's blood enough that we would all thrive still?
We have a prospering vampire-based economy.
I mean, we'll get there. Not enough people are talking about where are we going to get the best blood.
All these leftists pining for the days when water came from the sky like a bunch of communists. Too good to drink blood.
So what would I do with $100 million, Brewster's
Yeah,
Million style?
yeah, you
Well,
can't. Yeah, so you know the context. You love the
yes,
movie.
you can't. You cannot have any assets, essentially.
No assets. You can't give it away. Like if you can buy a
Yes.
bunch of houses, but you
Well,
gotta like live in them.
what I'll answer twofold. One, which is what he did, which if you haven't seen the movie in a while, is fucking fantastic. Which is he hates the two people running for political office, and it's a shame that happened.
What the fuck was that?
So you don't have this.
Oh wait, that happened when we were doing pastimes, but I didn't remember the explanation.
It just happens on the just this
Like
shit happens.
you just do that and it.
Yep, it's a whole bunch of stupid shit. Yeah,
But what's
it's
the
dumb.
balloons? What did you say?
I don't know what I
Politicians
did for the
running,
balloons.
campaigning.
I don't know what I did for the balloons. I don't know what the balloons. It's been a while. I don't remember.
Okay. For those of you just listening, Gareth was speaking, and all of a sudden on his screen, a bunch of balloons just popped up as if it was his birthday on Twitter, and now he's exploded. This is amazing.
What he does is he hates the two candidates running for office, so he funds a none of the above campaign.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So I would maybe fund one of those, but that's obviously ripped off. So I would say if I had $100 million, I remember one year I went to do my taxes, and the guy goes, "What are your write-offs?" And I had nothing, and I'd made like okay money. You know, it was probably one of my first couple years out here. And he's like, "What did you buy?" And I go, "I bought a lot of shots," because I would buy friends' shot. I just would buy a lot of rounds of shots. So what I would do is I would go on an Airbnb tour to the greatest Airbnbs in the world, and I would go to local bars and buy everyone shots.
Okay, I like that. That still goes by the rule.
Tell your tone that you like that.
I love that. Go around, but I feel like though, doesn't that kind of violate the rule because you're doing stuff for other people?
Well, is it? I mean, I guess that's charitable in a way. All right, fine, fuck it. I'll just go to Airbnbs and just drink the most expensive booze I can.
Pour
drink.
It out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take champagne, but I'll take Andre Bass.
And here's the deal: $100 million ain't what it used to be. You know what I'm saying?
You could spend that at the grocery store in 3 months on pineapple.
Publix. If you go to Publix,
anywhere. I bought like 8 things from Target the other day, and I was like, "You have got to be shitting me."
It is unbelievable. By the way, they're not a sponsor of the show. I just like them, and they seem like good people. If you have an Aldi in your neighborhood, run,
Aldi's
don't walk.
good.
Aldi's is great.
You know what else? My girlfriend's parents were talking, or family.
Someone's girlfriend has parents. Holy shit!
It's crazy that I feel like I've earned that noise 18 other times. And anyway,
you see what I'm doing here?
Big Lots.
Oh yeah, Big Lots, dude. You can buy a fucking couch and Cheetos.
Hearing real cheap stuff at Big Lots.
That's right. Yeah.
Life's a nightmare.
Dude, life is such a fucking nightmare. Having 100 million would it would take the sting out.
Yeah.
I think. Gareth, and this is, I mean, I know you have to have one off the top of your mind because you are one of the hosts of, I mean, I'll say it. It's, you know what? It's not just me. The New York Times said it. One of, if not it is the best history podcast of all time. Definitely the first history podcast of all time. The first one. I mean, it's great.
The New York.
I don't jack you off enough.
I've liked the New York Times since they lied us into Iraq. So their opinion is very important to me.
It's really funny you say that because, like, I've been pretty down on the New York Times, but as soon as I saw that they wrote a thing about y'all, I would, like, for a brief moment, I was like, all is forgiven. My buddies are getting their shine.
Imagine being us who shits on the New York Times
all the time.
All the times.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I mean, okay. My other podcast was in the New York Times too, like a year ago, and I was like, I mean, they're not.
By the way,
it also shows me that they're not listening.
Well, no, I was just going to say that that's just proof of how undeniable the show is they were like, I mean, here's the deal. We're doing a fucking piece about the best history podcast. They shit on us all the time, but they ain't wrong. Yeah. Anyways, question is, who is your favorite historical figure and why?
There's so fucking many. I mean, when I go through, I did a dollop. I've done a few on Timothy Leary, and man, that guy is just the encapsulation of everything we want or I want versus everything that can fall apart while trying to get it. With
That's the
ego.
LSD guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say there's the guy who gave all the lobotomies, the guy who made the lobotomy
Yeah.
like a show.
Yeah.
But the guy I was talking about earlier is there was a dude who just was like, I'm gonna walk backwards across America, and he was like the biggest celebrity. His name was like Plenty Wingo or something like that,
Plenty Wingo.
like Plenty or something.
What year was this?
This was like in the early 1900s.
Things were just going so good for white people that they were like, "Hey, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do."
And he just walked backwards, and it was, and anytime he was coming to a town, people like what you saw in Forrest Gump as the like obsession with him running.
Right.
This guy had walking. People were like, "Jesus Christ, get outside! He's walking backward!" Like everyone loved it. So that guy, I would say, he's maybe the best one.
It's funny because like you read stories about stuff like that all the time, which that probably honestly inspired that moment in Forrest Gump. And like you read about all these big deals. So this guy did this or whatever. And it's like how fucking jaded we are now because like now that we have Instagram, every day there's someone doing the equivalent of that. And we just don't give a fuck.
Dude, Donald Trump got shot in the ear like 3 days ago, and we're pretty much done talking about it.
Done talking about it. Never did. Never did.
We are so fucking thirsty for we're like, hey, anyway.
Dude, I thought the same fucking shit because I was like, you always hear about like, oh, it's a 24-hour news cycle. So like, Neil Brennan had said this thing once that like I actually use in my comedic life, which he said he was talking about. Someone asked him like, what if when you say something that offends people, what do you do? He's like, well, if I post something, a bit or something, I post it. If people are pissed, he said, I wait 3 days. And if after 3 days people are still talking about it, I go, I might have fucked up. He goes, but usually they're not because we don't have attention spans for shit like that.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking about that a lot, but I was like, okay, but most famous man possibly in the world, ex-president gets shot at, that'll probably stay. Because someone made the point to me when we were doing a show, we were doing a show in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and as soon as it happened, I go, well, he's fucking winning. Like 100% he's winning. And one of the comedians goes, honestly, if they did fake it, I think they did it too soon. Like they should have waited because like we're gonna be over this shit. And I was like,
that's
nah,
what
we ain't
Dave,
getting over this
Dave
shit.
was saying that to me on Sunday when we were recording.
Really?
So
Yeah.
like, we're doing a thing for our Patreon, and I was like, it's over. And he's like, it's as over as it was 3 days ago.
No, you're right. No one fucking cares. We were in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It happened. And immediately, because I'm selfish, the first thing I thought of is like, oh my God, I have to be in an Arkansas airport tomorrow. And I was like, and by the way, I'm walking around and sure enough, every TV is either CNN, Trump, or whatever. And I, for the first time in my life, walked around the airport without headphones because I wanted to see if I could like, and dude, everyone was just talking about the Olympics or baseball or what. No one was saying a goddamn word. It was the craziest shit.
It is crazy, dude. Yeah. We are in the craziest. I mean, you say that we say that every 4 days,
and it keeps being true.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. But yeah, like there's no way a dude walking backwards across America is going to keep our attention for more than no. But that's
never. People would be like, ugh, what? People wouldn't even watch a 30-second video about it. They'd be like, they'd hit like and scroll.
Dude, I look at analytics like that sometimes where it's like that you can look at your video and how many people watched it, but you can also see like the watch time and like how many people bailed out after 2 seconds. And it's like 2 seconds?
Oh.
I just went, how you did? And they were like, fuck this guy. I hate him.
That's the moon pie guy.
That's the moon pie guy. That's interesting. I got to look this Forrest Gump feller up. Who's follow-up question that I didn't give you, and this is unfair, but you've been doing the dollop for a long. What have y'all? Do y'all have thousands of episodes at this point?
No, we're under 700. We've been doing it for 10 years. We're in the 600, 650, something like that.
Doing a podcast for 10 years is a crazy thing to say.
Crazy.
because it still
didn't
feels
strike me
new.
as it didn't strike me as crazy until we did a 10th anniversary show, and I was like, "That's crazy," because then you are minorly reflective, and I'm like, my life has changed so much because of that show. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, my
Completely
life.
changed my life.
Oh, it changed my life. Your show did.
Wow.
Yeah, it made me realize that I one day could do a worse version
And
with my friend Trae.
God bless you.
And we've done it. Yeah, I mean, dude, we our show Well Read, we started doing that 7 years ago, and like we were late to the game. Like we
Yeah,
were way
honestly,
late to the
even
game.
when we started the Dollop, there were podcasts, so it was not like,
As I've said before, it was you, it was Mark Maron, it was Kevin Pollak, and it was Doug Benson, and that's it. Those are the only podcasts.
There were others, but it certainly wasn't like it is now. I mean, it's very funny now to watch like everything plug a podcast. Very strange.
It's crazy.
It's just nuts.
I think that we should like and this is coming from someone who like I have like 8 of them. You should have to go through background checks just like getting guns to start a podcast. It should not be as easy to start one as it is. Who's
True.
okay? So y'all have covered a myriad of people. Y'all even did at one point an England-based Dollop, which I don't believe you do anymore.
We are going to do a second series of it, but it's going to be for a specific subscription place.
Just couldn't let us have it, could you? You just couldn't let it. Y'all
but
stopped
let
doing
me
it.
tell you,
You just couldn't let us have it.
Dude, there are a couple on there where I'm like, okay, what the actual... after 10 years, I'm like, this cannot be happening.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. What's the who's the most fancy historical figure you and Dave have ever talked about where you go, my God, this is opulent. This is opulent for opulent's sake. Holy fuck, this guy is who Hugh Grant would play in a movie.
Oh boy, some of those UK ones. I mean, when you get back to like there was one. Okay, so this is on the ones we haven't released yet, and this is just the first thing that comes to mind.
Preview.
Okay. There's this one.
My show, buddy. You're on my goddamn show.
I guess it's just anyway. There's one where this woman, this like princess who turned queen, kept a like 3 foot tall person as like her hired little man. And he lived an opulent life based on her runoff.
Yeah.
But she was just like, I love my talking doll. And he was like, I'm down to clown. And then he just like hung out forever. Just her little Valencias just fucking hanging out. Just, and then like people are like, he shouldn't be getting full steaks. And he was like, bitch, I'll eat whatever I want. People are like, man, this little fucker's being an asshole.
He shouldn't be getting full steaks.
It's like that. So that's I don't have a specific name, but that's certainly one of them.
Well, I swear to God, I'm not saying this as like a joke on little people or whatever, but like it's still hard enough on them in today's society. Like, because we live in it's just like, they say that like left-handed people die more frequently because the world is set up for right-handed people.
Yeah.
Well, it's also set up for people above 4'2",
Completely.
So like, yeah, but as we're obviously better now at accommodating all types of people than we ever, but back then, unless you got the job of this princess wants a small boy to hang out with, they're chunking your ass off a cliff, dude.
But that is beyond lottery odds to end up being like, you know what I mean? Just like being like, leave me alone, cunt. It's just like, what? How is he getting away with it? He was. But then it takes a very dark turn. So it doesn't last forever. But that queen or that princess, she was just like, I mean, it was just crazy.
That's amazing. So last question here. We talk a lot on this show about the Venn diagram where like fancy people and trash people overlap. Our early examples were like, we love boats, booze, fucking our cousins. Can you think of any other examples? And I think you're the perfect person to ask this because you consider yourself trash, but you're from across the pond. Can you think of any other examples where the posh and the trash have something in common?
I'm trying to think of posh trash. Well, I guess it's very bread and circusy. First of all,
Loving slaves.
no, don't you. That's not a quote.
Okay.
This one doesn't work. This one doesn't work.
It might.
I think okay. It doesn't one that doesn't make sense to me but I'm happy to have. And I guess it's that I still look at Costco as a big deal.
Yeah. No,
Is the level of free samples at Costco.
No, that works, I think.
And it probably doesn't. But you can go into Costco. I shouldn't tell everyone this, but you could go into Costco and just say pharmacy. And then you're allowed to go in there and free sample.
Yeah.
So that
pharmacy's
is like
the code word?
Yes. Because they have a pharmacy that anyone can go to.
Uh-huh.
So if you just are like, I'm going to go eat at Costco for the afternoon.
So you don't have to have a membership. You can just walk in and
go
say
to the pharmacy. Go to the pharmacy.
Holy fuck.
Then you can just go around. So it's like, that's a trashy way. That's kind of like, to me, like getting inside the palace walls a little bit.
Yeah. For sure. Dude, first off, that's amazing. I'm leaving it in the episode, but I'm specifically not going to make that a clip that way because I don't want that to go viral and they shut it down.
Yes.
You know? But that's what?
Yes.
Now, I mean, obviously, like, we do pretty well, so we've got a Costco membership. But,
yes,
you know, perhaps I'll...
I don't have one.
Perhaps I'll... Well, come on, dude. You got 3 really good podcasts. Do you go to Sam's?
My dad worked at Sam's.
Nice.
I'm still I still am quite a cheap person.
I think Costco works though, because like the type of people, when I go to Costco, the type of people I see are literally, it's binary. It's either the fucking Instagram moms who are like juicing and like living that Gwyneth Paltrow goop life and stuff, and a dude who's like, this is the only place they sell 60 beers in one thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's those two people.
Yes.
Yeah. So
even if it doesn't, it's a great answer. I think we're all saying it's a great answer.
No, it's a great answer because it's like there's 2 reasons to buy in bulk. 1, it's a good deal, or 2, you have so much money that you like to spend it on many things at once.
Yes.
So like, no, I think that's a great fucking answer. We've never had that one.
Yeah.
Gareth, we're going to leave on this. I thought we've had such a good time that I would like to leave you with an eldritch terror. This is something I've been wanting to show Trae for a while because on this show, not only I think, you know, a lot of people think, oh, Puttin on Air is that's just a European history show or whatever. But I think Puttin on Air, like when rednecks talk about anything that's above their station, and I include technology, I include philosophy and stuff like that. So I go the sci-fi technology route every now and then. I came across this and it terrified me and I needed to share it with somebody. I'm going to show you this. This is a robot face that they're using human skin on.
Aha. No. Why do we do this?
Yeah.
It looks like a used condom.
It does, doesn't it? It looks like a used condom, bubble gum that was properly folded out, or a urinal cake.
By the way, if I would love it if that technology just ended at urinal cake, and you were just like, I wish it wasn't like going like, ow, I love you. Jesus Christ, no! You're pissing in its mouth like a clown carnival game.
More, please. More.
Okay. Stop. I'm okay with it.
There's a fetish out there where someone's like, I can only get off if the urinal cake hates it.
No, I'm full already. I don't know why we keep fucking just putting our toes over the line, man. That is like, we do not need robots with human skin learning how to smile.
It's like we've never seen any of James Cameron's work.
I know. We don't. It's so fucking. It's like so funny to be in the time when the drain is literally like we are legitimately circling the fucking drain now, and we're like, how can we get our foot on that gas?
Yeah. You know, but then there's part of me that's like, okay, if we are in the end times or we're about to be in Mad Max, I mean, hell yeah, speed it up. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go ahead and
some of my friends make the point to me that we are in the most interesting time, and that is crazy. That when we started the Dollop, we like would look back on history and laugh our fucking asses off at it. And now that we're actually living in that, it's
Yeah.
way less funny, but it's just it's such poetic justice to like end probably in the history we should not be repeating.
Yes, 100%. Like I think about that all the time when things happen. Like I'll see a tweet or something and it'll have a picture, and I'm like, this is like looking at, like, I envision this as it being in a history textbook. Like
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and I would look in the history textbooks, it would blow my mind that there were people for whom that was their present, you know, because it's like and obviously there were people around back then, but it's just so wild that there were. That like in this time, there like my dad saw JFK get assassinated. Like he's a part of this, like on these pages.
Some people say he did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I would love if my dad had accomplished that or anything. I'm kidding. My dad rules. He used to produce this podcast, but he quit. But now, like, every day there's something where I'm like, I'm going to have to answer for this. I didn't do it, but I'm gonna. Like my kid, like, you know how many times I've looked at my parents and been like, so really, Liberace, you had no fucking idea. No idea, right?
None, baby.
Yeah. And like, I feel like my kid is going to have way more Liberace really moments to me of like, are you being dead serious right now? That's fucking insane.
And also like, why didn't you do something? And you're like, I don't know, man. Just TV was awesome.
I tweeted.
Yeah.
Me and Gareth made a couple of scathing videos.
We were furious.
We were so mad.
I was taking bong rips
furiously, and I tweeted many of videos for posterity and for clicks.
That's what I'll say. I'll be like, well, instead of leading the revolution, I took elocution lessons.
Yes.
So.
Perfect way to end it. Gareth, thank you so much for being here, dude. Hey, tell everybody where they can find you again, in case somebody doesn't listen to full podcast.
That person's strange. Go to at Reynolds Gareth on social media, and you can listen to the Dollop or the Pastimes, or We're Here to Help, and you can go to my website, GarethReynolds.com, for tour information.
All right, buddy. I really appreciate you.
Dude, I appreciate you.
Thank you for doing this last minute, by the way.
No, my pleasure, dude.
Are we friends now?
Yeah, we are. I've thought that recently, like that when we had, you know, like we've been like friendly, but we've hung out. We are buddies. You're my buddy.
Okay, cool. Because last time I was on the Pastimes, you know, y'all made it pretty clear that the only reason I was on there was because I had a video go viral recently, and so I was worried about reaching out to you.
No, oh my God.
With you.
Okay, if we're friends, you're fucking with me.
I'm fucking with you. That's how you know. All right. Hey, yeah, you can find me. You know where you can find me. Here I am. Go to bonuscorey.com. That is where you can get early access to the sister podcast of Puttin on Airs, which is Little House of the Dragon, where me and my sister, Lady Kirby, break down the show that is taking the country and the world by storm, House of the Dragon. All the episodes are already up at bonuscorey.com. They drop on this feed on Saturday. So bonuscorey.com. And as always, stay fancy, motherfuckers. Gareth, give them a stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Stay fancy, motherfucker. All right.
That was very elocution. Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Puttin on Air.